lot of appreciation coming in from the people joining us online. From Mr. Patrick Okumu Omoin, who is also a panelist, but due to other circumstances will be joining us online. He says he is already enjoying, he is relishing, let me use the word, I am already relishing what I'm listening to. And this is a very excellent initiative. We see many other comments coming through, and members are looking forward to this. Maybe we could receive
Thank you very much.
then maybe just for information, this event is being streamed live on all our university's media pages and will also be streamed on other third-party pages out there. Thank you.
For those who are seated here, then response, anybody has a question or a comment to make on the presentation by the Reverend Fathers of the Dinamarca? Yes.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you all, professors and of us in different capacities. My name is Jacob Ubong. I just got done with my postgraduate here. Okay. Still have some other work to do to fully complete with my studies here. In strategic management and leadership. I just was up to have a small hint on what from the deliberation of our Dr. Gino in the area of what she talked about, positioning ourselves. If we look at ourselves in the global perspective, something that came into my mind quickly was about how we look at that at the global level, bringing from the perspective that we as the University of the Sacred Heart, alongside many other institutions that are contributing the life of many nationals across the world, how are we going to use the technology that already being used by other institutions, other people, really reach out the most, I would say maybe the needy people, or how to use the technology that how change the life of the people.
Yeah.
We are here for a purpose. I'm bringing this because something not good really happened with one of the institutions here in Uganda when they went to South Sudan. And they went and did some enrollment, they publicized their university. And again, just because people didn't understand what went wrong or whatever, they disappeared, and yet they got the involvement of so many stakeholders from South Sudan. And that caused a lot of embarrassment. And when we are here, we also have our colleagues who are there. One of us actually comes from South Sudan. And when we talked about how do we make our university known or benefit other nationals that are actually nearby or wherever they have. For example, maybe getting the students from South Sudan or maybe part of Congo. They say, now what we need to do, sorry, I'm taking a little bit down.
We have only 10 minutes.
Sorry.
Can you summarize? Because there may be others who like to talk.
Exactly.
Already asked the question. Okay.
Thank you. So now if we are going to use technology, I know we are using all of these things, but it should be something that will not really bring issues again, because that scenario produced the use of technology that was.
Thank you for that example. We shall have a response from the presenter. Is there any other person with any other comment or observation or question? I don't seem to see any, so may I invite Father to come and to respond to that question. How do we use technology to reach the people we intend to serve?
Question. How are we going to use technologies to reach out to the most needy people, to change the lives of people? And you of course added something. I see three things that you have highlighted here. One is an institutional operational challenge. There are many avenues that are available to reach out and leverage that we can leverage. State for education, state for service, even the fact that we are doing online education is part of that. So it becomes part of an institutional operational challenge to explore what is available to us and how can we utilize what's available to us to leverage. So it can be in terms of different kinds of service offering that we may offer, and even say counseling services can also be digital. But again, this is an operational challenge that needs to be thought through and implemented. You have also hinted on the issue of institutional credibility. And I think this is not just for university, but for any institution, there's need for institutional credibility. We, even at the personal level, should be counted on that what I promise to offer, I'm going to offer. What we promise to offer, we shall offer. And here in the University of Sacred Heart, we do not offer more than we can promise. We can do more than we are offered, but we commit what we commit to, we try and make sure we do it. We can do more, and we don't make too many commitments that we are sure we are not sure to do. So that's an important point. Then you also have the issue of risk with technology. Now, of course, we don't talk about this thing, but I'm pretty sure you may have discussed some of this in your lecture. There are very risks of technology. You may have heard that credit card information of people are being stolen, personal information are being stolen from, say, Google or some other places. This is always somebody will take use your money because one time you have used your cash online. These are all risks. And for some of us in the developing countries, even worse because they're excited with anything new. So even a phishing website should just fly our information and just somebody uses our money. So again, the training of people being aware of cyber security risks are all part of what we need to do. But it can never be ready enough because the case is constantly going. Thank you for your questions.
There is someone raising your hand.
Patrick, you could just unmute your computer and speak. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, presenter, Reverend Father Dr. Gino, and to all the participants in virtual space and also on campus. I would like to applaud you for this initiative to have this inaugural lecture, both in honor as a preparation, but also as an integral process of immersion of our postgraduate students. I remain very proudly associated to the cause of the University of the Sacred Heart. I have very vivid recollections about components of our nascent formative ideas, particularly the community outreach approach with our vision and mission. And both in regard to your presentation and in regard to the evolution of social dynamics in Acholi sub-region, building on existing success stories of Bosco, of Caritas counseling and training, and the thinking of the University of the Sacred Heart. We were very ambitious about cascading social transformation to the grassroots. You have very articulately discussed about this alignment of management strategy in light of technology, in light of the evolutions in society that we see. I am eager to hear from you some highlights of efforts that the university has invested to try and integrate.
Patrick, we have lost you. We don't get your sound. I don't know. We seem to have lost sound from Patrick. I think maybe the VC. I don't know if you stable internet.
Hello, can you hear me?
From this side, we can hear him.
All right.
Is it
I
better?
think the challenge here. We can now hear you. It was a challenge here. Please proceed.
Okay. Sorry, my question is long just because I've got so many things in my head. I am trying to draw a convergence of the initiatives of BOSCO, community outreach, the initiative of our social, spiritual, and the whole dimension of healing from the adversities of the war that we were immersed in as a region. And how we are trying to use these learnings to impart on the social trends that we see in Acholi region. Hello?
Hello, yes, Patrick, we hear you. Thank you.
Yes.
I think that the presenter has...
Can I rephrase the question?
No, it's okay. The presenter has got it and he will respond. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
There is a submission from Jimmy Francis Ochama. He's saying thank you for the presentation. And he's submitting finding that in addition to a great vision for identity and purpose, we also need the right people with extreme humility and character to lead and manage our organizations ethically for sustained results. Continuing that technology can only be used as a tool for transformation, but not to lead the way for transformation. The other one is looking at using technology, but also we have to bear in mind the ethical character of the people who are going to use the technology and all that. And we have seen in Uganda that so many people are manipulating technology, and we have seen a lot, even in elections and all that. We hear that people can complain that they are manipulating the people. So thank you.
Okay, I have these two submissions. Let me start with the second, which was basically an additional emphasis that yes, technology is a tool, and it's the people who matter. And remember, the emphasis has always been human life activities and relationships. That has been a constant emphasis, but maybe that has not been as clear. But thank you, Francis, for bringing this out. Right people, right attitudes will then bring in the commitment that we talked about. As for the submission and the question of Mr. Patrick Umon, you bring into a very concrete context the university sector has an institutional relationship with other institutions addressing the challenges of our people here. Institutional collaboration is a process, and institutional collaboration is based on mutual understanding and discussions and agreements. And I think the avenues for collaboration is great. As I also mentioned that we must work together. But it's a process. Thank you.
There's a hand up. Mr. Ojara, you can please unmute and speak. Thank you. All right, please proceed. Mr. Lokony, we cannot hear you. Please unmute. All right. Sorry, we cannot get your sound. Maybe you check for the interest of time. All right, now. Yes, we can hear you now.
Oh, sorry. Let me just chat now on the WhatsApp, on the chat list.
Please go ahead. The presenter will check your question. Okay, I think he has chosen to chat, so it's okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Presentation of one. We are moving to the next one. Now, the next presentation will be given by Mr. Charles Sabola, and it's going to be on strategic implications of corporate governance and policy on farm performance. Now, Mr. Charles Sabola is a well-renowned economist who has been on a consultancy, working as mentor, advisor, trainer, researcher for over 25 years. He holds a master's degree in 2 fields. One is an MBA awarded by Maastricht School of Management, together with SME, and then Master of Arts in Economic Policy and Planning from Makerere University. In addition to his BSc in Statistics. Charles Sabola has been, as I said, well now consultant in economic affairs. He has worked extensively on institutional development. He has worked extensively on strategic planning and management in various organizations, both non-for-profit and also for profit, and also advisory to government institutions. He currently sits on the governing council of the University of the Sacred Heart, and also on other councils, 4 others, campuses, as on the directorate, and he has done quite a lot of things. I want to mention a few. He has led the process of developing the national strategy for local economic development. He has also led the process of developing the second strategic plan for this university. He has also supported and guided the establishment of the operationalization of the local government economic department, and he has continued also to contribute to the project progress analysis of the promoting the rural development in northern Uganda, and many other things like the term review, the democratic governance facilities, and so on and so on. So Mr. Charles Sabola is well placed to be able to provide and give us this morning a talk on the strategic implication of corporate governance and policy on farm performance. So Charles Sabola, you're welcome. Vice Chancellor, members of the administration, academic staff, and students who are graduating in this very fast postgraduate program in strategic management and leadership of the University of the Sacred Heart. I must say I feel greatly honored to speak at this inaugural event. And more so because the topic I was given is one of those that I have a lot of interest in. And as a matter of fact, I've been toying with the idea of going back to school, but each time I think I'm too old. To examine a bit more in detail that subject. And also because I have earned the name of Professor, Doctor from so many people who think about it. And I keep saying, well, thank you for giving me those honors. And I hope that someday I will
I will cross that line. Now, having said that, I have chosen to take my presentation and focus more on the second half of what is public is, the immersion side of things. I think we all know what it means to immerse something, isn't it? Basically, if I say I'm going to put something in, I'm immersing jar in water and telling it by deep into water. So, in a sense, what I understand of this is that I am supposed through this talk to prepare you actually go out there and address the corporate governance challenges that already exist in many of our institutions. Private, public, non-governmental, if you want to call it, non-state. So I'm going to focus on that. Of course, the theme also speaks more to farm performance, and in the context of what we know farms to be, these tend to be more for-profit entities, but I will endeavor to expand that and go a little to organizations, knowing well that some of you are into civil society organizations and maybe even in the public sector. So my remarks will touch on issues relating to corporate governance and policy and the implications of corporate performance. And I'm going to draw examples from existing literature, from my own observations and experiences, having participated in either assessments, institutional assessment where corporate governance issues have come up, or even from my participation in the boards of different organizations. So I think, as was said by Reverend Father Pagino, there's a lot that is happening in our world today. There's a lot of changes going on. Therefore, the success of any farm organization no longer depends only on the efficiency in the organization, no longer depends only on innovations that the institution takes on, no longer only relies on staff that you have in the organization, but points us a lot more issues of compliance in relation to corporate governance principles. And I'll talk about corporate governance in a short while. I'm sure through your lectures, you have probably come across so many different definitions of what corporate governance is. But for my presentation, and that's where I'll take more of my examples, I've chosen to confine myself because there are so many definitions. If you endeavor to look up the different definitions or conceptualizations of corporate governance, you find quite a lot from different sources. But I've chosen to limit my definition to that which focuses on rights and responsibilities among participants in an organization or a firm, whether it's government, whether it's a business entity, whether it's a non-state entity. So rights and responsibilities. But in that context, focus more on relationships between the board, management, shareholders, employees, clients, and other stakeholder groups, including investors in the context of, and even funders. Let me expand that, because these all constitute broadly what we say the key stakeholders in corporate governance. Now, corporate governance in our institutions will focus largely on two, Leadership, let me take it that way. I think that was well said by that in his presentation. Leadership in organizations is provided by two key organs, if I may use that word. One is the board, the second is management. These two are particularly critical when we talk about corporate governance, because a lot of the relationships that we are going to talk about will stem and emanate from these two key stakeholders in corporate governance. And therefore, to make corporate governance work, most times, and it is the responsibility indeed of boards to ensure that their policies, frameworks that address issues in corporate governance. Now, corporate governance, we need to know, exists for a number of reasons. But more importantly, it exists to address potential problems or even address some of the existing problems. Many of which stem around conflict of interest, which is a very central one. And I think we all know what conflict of interest is. The others being issues to do with incentives and motivation for our staff, for the boards that exist, and many others. We'll talk through some of the challenges before further into this discussion. Now, having said that, as I said earlier on, farms, and I want to take on what borrow from what the previous presenter said. Farms and organizations exist for a purpose, and like it or not, we exist to serve community. Whether it's a business, whether it's a non-governmental organization, whether it's a public organization, whether it's any institution, name them. Farms organizations exist to serve community. In the context of business, farms exist to respond to a need, provide a need. People want a particular type of goods and services that are either not available or currently very expensive. Business entities, for that matter, will come in first and foremost address that need. But secondly, farms and the business ones then begin to pursue what you could call profit motive. For those of you who have some form of business, you know it's not charity. You invest, generate a return on investment, isn't it? And so there is a profitability motive that we pursue. And therefore, it should be a concern for any organization or a firm if your performance does not match your expectation. If you're performing below, you're not able to generate the profits that you should receive. You're providing goods that are not necessarily responding to the needs of the community. Either they're too expensive, they're inferior in quality. That should be an issue because that ultimately impacts on your performance. If you're making profit, so much the better. If you're not, that becomes an issue. Now, it's in that context that corporate governance now begins to provide a framework to guide the organization towards realization of its purpose for existence. Allow you to be able to generate the profits, to allow you to be able to serve community. And I think I'm hoping, like when I when I was asked to look at this and I was reflecting back, I started asking myself, looking at the goals of the strategy, the US, the university strategic plan, asking myself, have we addressed the key corporate governance issues in there, or do they at least provide a framework for us to also address? And I think I'm happy that they largely do. So, why is corporate governance particularly important for any organization? Corporate governance is particularly important for an organization, a business, because it touches on the most important element, which is your reputation. How you are perceived by your stakeholders, and more so community, if you exist to provide a need to a particular community. And so if you want to strengthen your organization's reputation, then corporate governance is a must for you to embrace. And as we shall see, we shall look at some of the key characteristics of corporate governance. Now, organizations, firms, therefore, need to build and strengthen their accountability mechanisms, because those directly impact on issues of trust. One of the persons commended the presentation by Father Gino talked about institutional credibility. That is another very important aspect why corporate governance is important. Credibility, institutional credibility. If you're not credible, nobody will want to take the goods, the services from you if you're a business. If you're an organization, no funder will want to come and provide you financial resources because you're not credible. Transparency, third aspect. Why corporate governance is important. Then fourthly, integrity. And again, I'm happy that I've seen this comment come through the earlier presentation. The integrity of the board, the integrity of management directly impact on the institution of the firm's reputation. Now, if you are able to address issues of accountability, credibility, transparency, and integrity, that directly contributes to trust that your stakeholders will have in your institution. Directly impacts on trust. Once you're trusted, then you can count yourself to be an organization with good or a better reputation. Now, reputation comes along with many other benefits for any organization or firm. Again, when I was thinking through this topic, I tried to ask myself, if we're talking of businesses, and I'm also into business, so I'm similarly affected. At what level for businesses, corporate governance, right? We can talk about that. We shall talk about that. But many times we'll think my business does not need a board, because myself and my wife are the board, and myself and my children are the board directors. That is it. But we'll talk about the pros and cons of that as we go along.